It's been 20 years since Toronto Raptors Vice Chairman Masai Ujiri co-founded Giants of Africa, an initiative to help empower young African youth. 10 years since he's even been in Toronto running the entire show, and he's looking for his 10th head coach. Hello, everyone. This is Jabari Young, senior writer here at Forbes, and in a minute, I'll be talking to Toronto Raptors Vice Chairman Masai Ujiri about all he has going on. Again, the Giants of Africa celebrating his 10 years just being in Toronto, running this ship. He helped got into a championship in 2019. Toronto Raptors Vice Chairman Masai Ujiri talking business with him right now. You know, I'm catching you, I guess, in a very interesting time, business time, transition-wise. You know, you're searching currently as we speak for your 10th head coach in franchise history. This is your 10th anniversary with the Toronto Raptors, right? And 20th year anniversary of Giants of Africa. So, you know, so much to talk about, man. Thank you for the time. I got to start here. You want to just announce who you're going to hire right now? You could just say it right now.
We're announcing you. We're announcing you. We're hiring you as the head coach.
Man, I am privileged, man. Unfortunately, I have to turn it down because, you know, the type of stuff you're looking for, I don't think I'm up to it. I covered the Spurs for 5 years, so I got a little bit of pop in me, but I'm not ready for the challenge, man. I would love to be your assistant, though. I can make that.
No, we're getting you an interview. You better come down here and interview with us.
Well, I appreciate that, man. You know, listen, take me right now, you know, before we hop into the business. What's your interview? Like, take me on a Masai Ujiri. On the inside of the interview, what do you look for leadership-wise? Because, you know, you're searching for a head coach, and I've always been taught that head coaches are basically almost the CEOs day-to-day because they're the face of a team. So when you're in those interviews and you're searching for the next head coach, what leadership qualities are you seeking?
Leaders, basketball acumen, many things that, you know, I don't know if I can really get into, you know, like right now, because I think our team is at a specific place and we're still, you know, like discussing with candidates, you know, like right now. So I prefer not to, you know, because we're kind of like right in the heat of it. But, you know, leaders, basketball acumen and dealing and the everyday of, you know, dealing with all sorts of departments that we run here, starting with the most important, which will be the players, you know, and how you coach them and teach them.
Yeah. You know, you have a phenomenal, brilliant basketball mind on your staff in Wayne Embry. And, you know, every chance I get, I always pick this brother's brain. And he always taught me about culture and about character. When you're building a culture and you're searching for the perfect people, you need to have that character. And I learned that in San Antonio, too. Culture and character, those are two things that really mean a lot to you, right? And so that character part, like, what do you seek when you're looking at players? Because right after you hire a head coach, the draft is coming right up this month.
Yes, I think you start the organization with the culture you want to build. You know, you bring the people in with the right character, and honestly, like having, you know, a mentor like Wayne Embry really like sets you in the right direction, teaches you, you know, I think the right way, a lot of history, a lot of discipline. A lot of human interaction. He's been incredible, a sounding board. And then when you build your team overall, you know, people are going to bring different kinds of cultures, different types of backgrounds, you know, different types of personalities, and how do you like match them all together, you know, like, and we as leaders, including, you know, like that head coach, you know, like have to be, you know, like very, very in tuned with this and how, you know, like you manage people on a day-to-day basis and interact with people. It's a lot of human interaction, and you're absolutely right. Culture and character come like right off the bat.
Yeah. Well, listen, when you look at culture and character, one of the teams that you helped mold and the Denver Nuggets are right now playing in the NBA Finals. When you look back and you see that team right now, it's the first NBA Finals right now, you kind of help facilitate when you traded Carmelo, you know, years ago to get some of those assets that they were able to build, and now they have a championship team. You smile when you look at the Denver Nuggets and say, man, you know what, that's good to see, because again, you played a big hand in that.
Yeah, I smile, but it's not because, like I don't think I contributed, like those guys have. I mean, what Calvin has done, what Tim Conley did, what Mike Malone is doing, coaching. I think the Cronkies as owners, I think it just incredible work has been put in into this, and I'm a fan. Like when I look at it from afar, just supporting, like a few people that I've worked with and a few people that, came after, but honestly, like has nothing to do with the work. It's 10 years ago, so I'm just so happy because that city deserves, like to be in this position to win, and it's just incredible to see.
Yeah, wonderful city, man. Although times being in Denver has been great, but listen, we talked about it, right? 10 years that you've been in Toronto now, and here you are, vice chairman, running the whole organization. And you go back to 2002 when you were with Orlando, broke as a scout, an international scout. You wasn't getting paid. Doc Rivers was the head coach at that time. Did you have a chance, and it may be tough now because you're looking for a head coach, but do you have a chance to sit down and reflect about the 10 years, not only you've been in Toronto, but your career as a whole?
To be honest, I don't. When we are in these positions, I think I speak for most people where we say, like you coming in here, like thinking about like the next 10 years, and I think about winning every day. I'm watching some of these games now, and you're trying to get our team, like back into that rebuild, into that caliber, I honestly like focus on what the next 10 years are going to be, and I'm excited about that, yeah, looking back, one day I'll be on a farm or something, and could look back, like properly, but it's not something I do now, honestly, like until people started giving it like a lot of attention, maybe from an article and texting me, like I had no idea like that it meant anything, like you have to winning. We play sports to win, and how we build the next 10 years is how I look at these things.
You haven't sat back and reflect. Masai, you are the first African to run a U.S. pro sports team, and you haven't sat back and reflected. I went back and I remember when you were first hired in Denver, and you said you wore that flag, the whole continent, on your shoulders because this is something special, right? And you haven't sat back and reflected on that yet?
No, I still put that, like on my shoulder, that I represent an incredible, continent, and the responsibilities are really incredible. But I don't. It's not something I like reflect on in terms of what has been accomplished or what has been achieved. I think it's more of how do you get it better, how do you win on the court? How do you win off the court? How do you bring people along as you do? And that's really important to me. But in terms of the heavy weight I put on my shoulder on Africa and being the first, it would be a shame if I'm the first and there were no others that come after me. So I'm proud of the Imes, the Jamas, the Patrick Mutombos, Patrick Ingleberts, like the Africans, Amadou Gallo Fall, everybody kind of making their way now into, honestly, like lifting up our continent and seeing, like some of the things that we can do on a high level, which is very important for us in this business.
Yeah. Well, listen, we were talking about Africa. Let's stay there, right? 20th anniversary of Giants of Africa. First, you're one of the co-founders of that organization, which, through basketball empowers African youth to, not only find their career choices, but life choices, right? You're teaching confidence through basketball. You're teaching just overall growth through basketball. But, when you sit back, right, and you see the 20 years that this foundation has put in and this organization has built, right, to continue to help find guys like Joel Embiid and Pascal Siakam, when you think about that organization as a whole, have you sat back and reflected on just, the 20 years that Giants of Africa have been around?
With Giants of Africa, you reflect back on it, like to build more for the future. Like we started off with like low camps, teaching the basic basketball fundamentals, teaching life skills, using sports and education as that platform, that tool, to maybe empower and help youth, as much as we possibly could. And then we started incorporating so many other things, women, and teaching these kids, that you could use this basketball as a tool. You could use it as a niche to even like grow and bigger and expand into more. You might not end up being a basketball player, but you could work in sports where, like it elevates you to, and you keep your dream going, and you achieve and you contribute and you inspire. And seeing all these youth over the years grow, we are so proud that there's a future to look forward to. And that's why we're bringing all of them together, like this summer. Building courts, infrastructure, our court build program has, grown, and we're trying to get to 100 courts. I think we're getting close to 30 now, building around the continent. We're incredibly proud of this. Our alumni program, which is huge, and you see kids follow these programs and go even build their own programs from some of the things they've learned. The partnership with the NBA, with BAL, with NBA Africa, with Seeds, all those things, they are remarkable for us. How do we make them bigger? How do we grow even more? That's what 20 years signifies, and that's what we want to build off of.
Yeah. Listen, you said a lot there, right? But if for somebody, and I know what Giants of Africa is, and I'm sure a lot of people in the NBA, around the NBA community knows, but for somebody who was just discovering this organization and they ask you in one sentence to define what its mission is, what would you tell them?
Our mission is to grow the youth of the continent through sports. That's what it is. My humble beginnings, my humble opportunity has been given to me through basketball and through sports. And how do I relate that to kids? If a kid like me can grow up in Zaria, in a place like Zaria in northern Nigeria, and end up in a position like this, there are so many kids more talented, smarter, bigger, better, than me, more ambitious, more resources, that could actually achieve so much more. How do we give them opportunity? So yes, that using basketball, sports, education as a tool, to grow.
Yeah. Again, 20 years in, where do you go from here? Because BLA, Basketball Africa League established, NBA Africa, the business, the entity established, and you hear the league, they always talk about they want to, continue to grow the continent, right? You're talking about 1 billion people plus over in Africa. And so that you think that the foundation is being laid right now, and it's only going to help. How does Giants of Africa integrate with that? Right. And where do you go again, to make sure that this program and this, organization is around for the next 20 years?
Yes, well, we're hoping that right now the focus, I think, is on infrastructure, which we hope continues to grow. We really do need infrastructure, whether it's courts, whether it's arenas, whether it's spaces for these youth to play sports. In terms of Giants of Africa, we're so excited about the festival we're having this year. So it's bringing all these youth from different countries that we have actually touched or been in. I think there's 16 of them, and bringing over 250 kids to Rwanda for the 2023 Giants of Africa Festival, celebrating our 20th anniversary. I think is incredibly huge and a good milestone for us to jump, and set the tone for hopefully what becomes maybe the next 20 years. The collaborations, the partnerships, again, I mentioned with the NBA, with BAL, we see the BAL League and where it's going. We see NBA players, NBA African players, NBA African NBA players with African descent continue to grow, in the league. The present MVP, is an African player that grew up, in this setting and came up in this camps, Basketball Without Borders type setting. We have a few of them on our team: Pascal Siakam, Precious Achua, all Christian Koloko, all Giants of Africa and Basketball Without Borders youth that came up in these camps. The more opportunity we give, to this youth, and that's going to be now through the creating and building of infrastructures is going to be so key, to where we go forward. And we are really focused on that with Giants of Africa.
Yeah. What sparked Giants of Africa, right? Take me back to when you first helped co-found this organization. What did you see that was missing, and what sparked the idea to jumpstart this?
Well, I sat down, grew up in northern Nigeria. My coach OBJ would have a couple basketball camps in northern Nigeria, and he'd give us Akeem Olajuwon t-shirts, and he'd teach the basic fundamentals of the game. And when I came to the States, I had the opportunity to come to the States. I saw that these camps were not rare, they were not extinct, they were not, they were common, and why don't we have more of them? And I saw a lot of youth that looked like me and were better, were stronger athletes, smarter youth. And how could we give them even more opportunities? So as I continue to get opportunity to work in this unbelievable league, the NBA, it became for me, an obligation to go back and do well on the continent in terms of giving back, in terms of giving more opportunities, seeing youth. And it actually helped my job because I'm a scout, I'll always be a scout. That's my background in this game. That's what gave me this remarkable opportunity. So the ability to travel around that continent, see youth, see talent, which we have an abundance of, and people are not even aware how much of, how much talent there is on the continent. And just because we lack facilities, it doesn't come out as much. This is a huge growth for us as we move and go towards the future.
Yeah. But as you said, listen, Giants of Africa is not just basketball related, right? You also wanted to create the ecosystem where if, you have youth that decide that they didn't want to play the game, but they could be around it, right? Be an executive like yourself, be one of the team doctors, the team trainers. Are there programs and initiatives set up that, if a player or woman or man doesn't not want to play the game, they can still be around it? Do you have, pathways and programs set up so that, they can do that?
We just came back from Bal, where we actually just did a job fair, with 100 youth in Rwanda, something that, eventually this was focused on the festival, but something that, really had a great turnout. And you're absolutely right. Why can't I be a sports lawyer? I be involved in all different aspects of sports. It is a business. It is an ecosystem that continues to grow. When I look at this business of the Raptors and how many people are involved in this whole machine, eventually becomes $1 billion business, how are we not thinking about that? And that starts from the youth on the continent. They are the ones that are going to change that continent of Africa. They are the ones that are going to make the right moves. They are the ones that are going to be visionaries on how, that continent really progresses. And I think people are not as aware of how much progress sports can make this work. Sports brings vision. Sports brings peace. Sports brings education, sports brings people together. All these things we have to teach this youth, and there's a unique eye that you can look at sports from. And I think people are beginning to realize now.
Yeah. You mentioned Basketball Africa League, and you've been over there a few times. I believe they're going into their third season. biggest positive surprise that you've noticed about that league?
Yeah, well, I think the following, the awareness of the game, like I think people are seeing it as a business. We see President Kagame's vision of building an arena. There are only two of those incredible arenas in Africa right now, in Dakar Arena and the Bank of Kigali Arena in Rwanda. Egypt also has an arena. We are trying to develop that. I see the business of sports where you see merchandising, you see like the ticketing aspect of value, you see the investing, like part of where people are paying attention, like to this league and how much it can grow, like where are we going from here? What kind of competition is it going to be? Is it team, franchising, all that stuff, like there is incredible value, like out there of what this economic engine could actually like be, and we have to develop more infrastructure. But I think Amadou Gallo, Fall, and Victor have all done, like incredible jobs. I think Adam and Mark Tatum's vision of having a league in Africa is spot on because the talent is incredible.
Yeah. What's it like being vice chairman of the Raptors?
It's for me, I have the blessings, like that this position is it gives me, like a platform to be a leader and have a voice, like not just within our organization, but when I look at the world globally, I look at a lot of the issues we deal with around the world. I think being here, sharing ideas with owners and growing this team, helping the league, like become even bigger and better. I think my role is winning, and how can we win on the court? Like how can we win off the court? And as I said it before, how do we bring people along? And that's how I see this role. This has now become a big part of maybe who I am as a person, and how much I love the NBA. I love the opportunity that I've been given.
Yeah. When you take yourself back, right? What would you tell yourself as the kid playing in Montana State? Go back in time to Montana State, right? And you're vice chairman now. What would you tell yourself about what's to come on this journey?
The journey is incredible. It's real, like, and honestly, I wouldn't change anything, because those hard times, those tough times, those people, those, when I look at it, like honestly, like I'm so blessed, like who am I to who am I, like a youth from Nigeria, like growing up in Nigeria, what am I going to ask for that's more? Yeah, could we have one more? Could we have, like could you, but honestly, like I'm so my mind is more on the future and how can we set it up for this youth, like not only in Africa but around the world, my kids, like how do you set it up for them? And when I look at my journey, it was just terribly enjoyable, like incredibly like enjoyable. The paths is, you mentioned Denver, like look at where like Denver is. Am I happy that I went through there? So much, like that was part of my, that's a place that I worked, and like, and I was part of that franchise that's maybe about to do something, hopefully about to do something, like special. Everywhere you mentioned, my education has been people, my education has been places, my education, like has been this incredible ecosystem around the world that sports has really like got me to experience, and I'm really happy about that. But I want more and want to want to see more, want to dream more, to give more opportunity.
Yeah. Doug Smith, one of the columnists, one of the writers up in Toronto wrote a great article about you. And in that article, he put in there how he emphasized the word passion, right? And he said how passionate you are and that passion is still driving you today. Where does that passion come from?
I think it comes from, whether it's my family, whether it's my mom and dad, whether it's, at 12 years old, I found like an incredible game of basketball that has moved me to beyond, like this game is something special in my life. It's found me, my wife, it's found me, my three beautiful kids, it's found me like this incredible league, people, I Giants of Africa, I that passion for me, is seeing built from playing soccer, like from growing up, and that passion for sports, like that was instilled in me for competition. I cherish that, like, and it helps you, it composes you to be who you want to become, and hopefully there's still plenty more to come. I hate talking about this 10 years and all that stuff.
Well, listen, it's a milestone. You got to celebrate it because, you got another 10 years, maybe 20, 30 to go. But, Giants of Africa, you've done a phenomenal job, man. I wish you the best in the next 20 years. A few more rapid questions before I get you out of here. And the first is that one of the first things that you did, when you first took over as GM of the Nuggets during that first year, you had to trade Carmelo Anthony. He is now retired. Describe Carmelo Anthony in one word. When you look back on his career.
Incredible player. Incredible human being. You know how Melo kind of, the way he moved and the things he did, not in a sense of, don't like get me wrong with this one, but he reminded me a little bit of Muhammad Ali, like he just has, he has this like charisma, like movement, like his personality, like the way he played the game, just the scoring, like legend of this game, like, and I'm really happy that I got to work with him and know him, like personally.
Yeah. When you look at this offseason coming up, there's going to be obviously a lot of key things already that people that I've talked to, they're expecting a lot of movement this offseason, particularly maybe on even draft night. What are you expecting once the finals are over and everybody's focused on, what to do next with their team? What type of atmosphere are you expecting this offseason?
It's the NBA. You never know.
So in other words, we're going to have to just look on Twitter and see all the rumors and all of that stuff, right?
Exactly. Don't put your phone down. Don't blink.
Oh, man. You're killing me, man. You're killing me. Hey, looking back at each one of your stops, right? We go through it and then, get you out of here. Orlando. What do you most remember about that place?
Orlando. Every time Orlando comes to my mind, Doc Rivers, like mentor, incredible friend, person, like, and that organization was good to me. They taught me how to scout John Gabriel, but my first thought always that comes to my mind is Doc Rivers.
Yeah, Denver.
Oh, Denver. I think the Cronkies, the incredible opportunity. Carmelo, I think Carmelo is really because of the trade and me being a participant in that, I think that really that it stands out, like in my mind. But you have to understand that was my first leadership GM opportunity. So I'm truly thankful, like to Denver.
Yeah, you got a lot of young kids that will be coming into the NBA this month. If you had to give them one piece of financial advice, and listen, Masai, you were a player before, right? Montana, you played overseas. So I think you have an understanding of the money situation. You spent your savings, when you were trying to pay your dues as a scout. Different environment now, different financial environment. NIL is around, but, still financial advice. What would you give the young kids that are coming into the league this month?
I think a lot of them have really good opportunity with like the NIL coming in, and I think my big advice is hire somebody, you know, like smart that advises you with finances and the way you come into this league, you know, spending money. I think have really good people around you, yeah, because sometimes we don't know where we're going to go in our careers, and it's always good to be stable, you know, like especially with some of the opportunities these talented kids are going to have. They deserve it.
Yeah, it can all go like that, as you said. And finally, where are you putting your money at nowadays? What is your business strategy? Real estate? Are you doing cryptocurrency? I will call you crazy, but are you doing it? What's going on with your financial portfolio?
Africa, baby, infrastructure in Africa. You know, like I think I really want to invest in infrastructure in Africa, and where I see, you know, the development of arenas and those kind of things. You know, like that's important to me. How you can grow sports that way. So stay tuned.
Yeah. And listen, live in-person experiences, arenas and infrastructure there. It's a lot of stuff going on over in Africa. I'm definitely going to continue to monitor. Hopefully this is the first of many conversations, because again, a lot of stuff is happening in Giants of Africa. Congratulations on 20 years. A lot of organizations don't get a chance to make it that long. So I hope you feel proud. And listen, reflect, man. You could calm down with Masai. You can reflect a little bit, you know, get a chance to smoke a cigar or something like that and just reflect.
We'll do. We'll try.
Yeah. And listen,
when you come to Toronto, we will.
Well, I was going to say, I changed my mind. I do take the head coaching position. So, you know, you write it up. Write it up. Masai Ujiri, thank you so much for the time, my brother. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me, brother.
All right.
Appreciate you. Thank you.